Hi, I'm Robbie. This is Chatting Tracks. Thanks for joining me on a deep dive into the Beatles' Rubber Soul album. Anyway, coming up on today's episode, yet again, I think this is John Lennon's nastiest album, lyrically and just the way he's playing. And I just think it's just such an interesting sort of song to start on the second track.
And this was the album that turned me on to music, really. It made me want to be a musician. It made me want to write songs, and it made me want to sing.
But back then, it really was revolutionary, mate. You know, I saw you standing there. There was nothing else like it. You know, I still listen to the old stuff because I love the energy of it. You know, the pure love for sound and words. I think they're still amazing back then.
We really appreciate you clicking on this video, and thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments what you think of this video. What's your favourite Beatles album? What's your favourite Beatles single? We'd love to know. Also, if you could like and subscribe, you massively help us out. As you'll be able to tell, it's just a bunch of friends talking about music, and we love doing it. We could do it all day. Your support would mean the world to us, and it means we can do it a lot more. Anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.
Chatting Tracks. Let's talk music.
Okay, so thanks for joining us today. I've got a fantastic panel as ever. Me besties, I've got Pete Saxa from Unknown Sounds, and we've got Andy Parker from Chatting Tracks. And today we're going to look at Rubber Soul, the Beatles' sixth studio album, come out on the 3rd December 1965 in the UK on the Parlophone label, and it also come out in Capitol in America. An amazing album, a lot to unpack. When did it come into your lives? Whoever wants to go first?
Go on, Pete.
All right. It came into my life when I started loving music. It wasn't the reason I started loving music, but it was one of the reasons that made me continue to love music. It's a great album. I've always been a Beatles fan. The two albums I put together with this is Rubber Soul and Revolver. To me, they go together. They're like transitional albums, I think. And there's really interesting songs on there, some fantastic songs, some songs that are like, but it's always been part of my life, always will be part of my life.
That's fantastic. We'll get into the tracks in a moment. Andy, what about you?
Yeah, same sort of thing, really. I was brought up on the Beatles, and this was the album that turned me on to music, really. It made me want to be a musician. It made me want to write songs, and it made me want to sing. And it's the first album that I actually learnt to sing from beginning to end. I learned all the words to all the songs. I drove my dad mad, and this I can actually credit this with my love for music. This album, it's really is a key point of my life.
Fantastic.
That is fantastic, Andy. I didn't know that you sang. Can you give us a little bit of Michelle?
No.
We'll get hit with copyright for a start. So.
Okay.
Okay, so my first introduction in this album came from a wonderful place. My dad bought a box set in the mid-'80s. In fact, it was this one.
Wow.
It got given to me, and this is all the Beatles albums in a lovely wooden box set. Unfortunately, I've got to keep the lid open now because he broke it. But there is Rubber Soul right there. And I remember I used to just get home from college or school and just play one of these CDs at some point. And it was always when I got to hear things would change. You're like, this is when they're really becoming amazing. And I do think there's three kind of Beatles fans. There's the all-encompassing Beatles fans that love everything they do. You've got early Beatles fans and you've got later Beatles fans. And I would always say I'm the later and encompassing fan. I think that's fair to say. But if you had to pick a period for me, it's from Rubber Soul onwards. This is when the Beatles really become the Beatles. They became super interesting. And I think this album is their hunky-dory, if you like David Bowie's hunky-dory album. The one before the real big one, I think Revolver. Don't get me wrong, all the Beatles albums were big, but I think they got really big and experimental after. From this album onwards, that's what I think it came to. And I think Revolver became the famous one for the experimental, but I think it genuinely started on this album. I genuinely do. So this is where I first got into it, this lovely box set, which I now absolutely treasure, is on my side, and it's absolutely wonderful. And a lot of good memories for this box set. Fantastic.
So you were saying that there's three types of Beatles fans, basically, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I heard you say before that they did their early stuff, they had to do what they did. They did what they had to do to get noticed and stuff. But I think that we're jaded because we grew up with rock and roll. We know it. But back then, it really was revolutionary, mate. I saw you standing there. There was nothing else like it. I still listen to the old stuff because I love the energy of it. The pure love for sound and words. I think they're still amazing back then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. What I mean is, though, if you said to me, you're on a desert island, pick X amount of albums, it would be Rubber Soul onwards, not the other way down.
Yeah.
Because I just find them when their lyrics get introspective and deeper and a bit grittier, that's when I think they're just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But let's know in the comments what your favorite period is. We'd love to know as well. Let's hit us up in the comments and tell us. But for me, it's Beatles, Rubber Soul onwards. I just think they've just become phenomenal at this point. And if anyone says they're the greatest band in the world, I go, yeah, listen to Rubber Soul onwards, and you'll find out why. I think you could take some of the early tracks and put them against other songs of that ilk in Liverpool, and they would be similar. But then when you get to Rubber Soul and you go this way, that's when they're completely different to everybody else. That's my opinion, but that's fine. Hate on me as much as you want, but yeah.
Well, it's a shift in their focus, isn't it? This album, it's more of an artistic statement than a collection of singles.
Yeah,
which the earlier albums were. So it's more of a work from them. Obviously, it's an album that's completely written by them as well.
Yeah, no covers. But that's the main thing for me. There's no covers on this album.
Yeah. And they also stopped touring, so they were concentrating on recording.
Yeah, they had more time.
Yeah, and it's the birth of them becoming incredible. I mean, they're incredible at this point anyway. But what I mean is the stratospheric Beatles. This is when you get to the stratospheric Beatles for me. All right, we're opening up with "Drive My Car." Apparently, Paul had the bass line in his head for a little while, and I just think it's a really interesting track to start an album with that guitar riff opening it, and it's an instant earworm. With a double track vocal and the cowbell driving it as well. So you got that driving cowbell going along. Lads, what do you think of the track?
Andy?
It's got a great bass line. It really has. And you can see that he worked a long time on it. It's a fantastic bass line. It's very cheeky. And I think there is a little bit of I've lost my word. I don't know what my word is anymore.
A little bit of
no, the word
innuendo. Innuendo is the word I'm looking for.
Of course, yes.
So the car being a little bit of an innuendo there.
Definitely. I don't have a car, but I got a driver, and that's a start. Yeah.
Beep,
you know
beep.
what she said.
But again, they're writing about something, driving a car. So really mundane as well, but flipping it to make it, like you say, innuendo-y as well. But it's also looking at fame and stardom, maybe from McCartney's point of view. Maybe he's seen so many people that are trying to latch onto famous stars as well. Maybe it's a social commentary on the people around him at the time, because obviously by this time they're incredibly wealthy, they're incredibly famous, and maybe they see people, latching on, and maybe it's about latching on as well, like hangers on trying to get famous by being with famous people.
Yeah. No. I think I agree with Andy and with you, Robbie. When it comes in with those guitar riffs, and it's a joy. Who've heard a song like that before, especially to open up an album? What they're saying is, hold on to your hats, guys. This is going to be different.
Yeah. Also, you got the I found a driver, and that's the start harmonies as well. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. And it's again, it's Beatles magic, where you've got like a fantastic riff, a simplistic rhythm to a degree, because it really is just the cowbell, isn't it, that's driving that track, and then these multi-layered harmonies again that are just phenomenal. And it's just to me, it's a Macca song all over. You know what I mean? It's just a Macca song, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
I think the harmonies are going to be a recurring theme throughout this entire album. Yeah. It's and I think that's what really made me listen to it and enjoy it as a kid, because there's so much going on in there vocally and musically. It's really interesting listen, particularly to uneducated ears. I think it's really very good.
It's very layered, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, I know we're going to talk about this a bit later, but it's also a very rough sounding album. It's not very polished to a degree, and I think that's its charm. Yeah. It's very sparse, and it's very sort of rough and overdriven guitars and bass, and that's why I think it's got a load of charm about it. So we've had Drive My Car, an absolute rocker to start the album. And then straight away, the second track, Norwegian Wood, This Bird Is Flame, we pivot straight away in an unusual manner. You figure it'd be fast, slow number, fast number. No, they pivot straight away on the second track. It's one of the first Beatles songs to feature a sitar, and apparently it was inspired maybe by, a fling or extramarital affair by Lennon. And it just shows, yet again, like, I think this is John Lennon's nastiest album, lyrically and just the way he's playing. And I just think it's just such an interesting sort of song to start on the second track. What do you guys think?
I think it's definitely about an extramarital affair.
Yeah.
Again, there's loads of metaphors in there. She showed me her room is in a good Norwegian wood. You know, the sitar. What's that all about? Where did that come from? You know, it's like this is not an instrument that the Western world has really had much contact with at this point, and to throw it in there, and that they're really experimenting at the moment with their sounds, aren't they? And they're starting to hear things that nobody else can hear, and it's just great. This as a kid, I didn't understand this song at all, especially not like the extramarital affairs and all that sort of stuff. I did obviously was far too young, but I just thought it was lovely. You know, like the imagery of sitting in this room with the log fire and all that malarkey, which if you flip it on its head, it could be that he's going to burn the place down after he leaves because she's off at the door. It's just such a lovely like postcard image, isn't it? Really, you know, it's beautiful. Like you think of Scandinavia, you think of sitting in a log cabin with the fire going and all that malarkey, looking out the window at the snow and all this, and it's, you know, it's just lovely. But
I agree, Andy. When I hear this song, it's like you're there. You know, you're all cozy. You got a fire going, and that sitar only adds to it.
Yeah.
Although it's a very unusual sound to hear, it's very comforting in the context of that song. I love it. And
they were really wise as well, because on the outtake version on the anthology, you can hear the overplaying of the sitar, and he was playing the melody like down 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 down, and it was too much, and they stripped it right back to what you get now, and I think that was absolutely the right choice. Like it's just the point when he goes, I told her to sleep in the bath, and he goes, Boom! Just that one note on its own reverberating fills the song. That's not on that lyric, but it just fills the song really, really well. Like it's not overplayed, it's used subtly as well. But you know, I look at it as a little taster, because then when you get to the other albums, the sitar really becomes more prominent, and it's almost like are you going to go for this or not? And we'll try it on this, and if it doesn't work, we know. You know what I mean? It's almost like a little taste with the sitar.
I think if they took the sitar out, I think George would have walked. He would have said, forget it, I'm out.
Yeah. I just think what an amazing, unusual flavor for that. I mean, don't get me wrong, they use different kind of horns that Paul would hear watching a classic, and so they're always looking for new sounds. But you're right, I think this really experiments beautifully on this track, and it works so well. It really, really works well. It's brilliant. And what a great song. Really, really great song as well. The vocals are fantastic as well. And I love the fact that the acoustic guitar sounds quite lo-fi as well on it. It doesn't sound polished. It sounds like he's just standing in a room with a mic, and it's not, you know what I mean? It's like really, it's so rough. It's like a real DIY album. I just think it's brilliant the way they get the sound out of it.
Some of them, but a couple of songs that we're going to listen to soon are quite polished as well. You know, really well.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah. I think because John Lennon was a little bit more just that'll do, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So I imagine he's done it, and they go, no, we'll tie that. He's going, nah, that'll do. Yeah, I mean, it is.
So there is a quote from Lennon that's attributed to John Lennon, that he was trying to be sophisticated in his writing, and it was about having an affair. It was about an affair that I was having, but I was trying to be smart about it.
Wow. Yeah.
Burning the place down.
Yeah. It's a bit ambiguous, and it's so I lit a fire.
Yeah.
And, right at the end. It's
I'm trying to be so quiet. I wrote a song about it and stuck it in a national album. Yeah. And they called him a genius, you know.
Yeah.
Fantastic song. Yeah, again, load of space in it, which makes it work. I think that's the magic of that song. The space in it is absolutely brilliant. We're up to You Won't See Me, the third track on the album, written by McCartney. Apparently his relationship with Jane Asher, because it was getting difficult for him, because they're both she was an actress, obviously doing lots of touring and stuff, and he was doing the same, and they're going in different ways as well. And apparently the Hammond organ note was held by Mal Evans, so you got lovely Mal popping in there as well, bless him. And yeah, this is one of those songs that I think is okay on this album. It's lyrically, I think it's brilliant, but musically I don't think it's that sort of strong. Am I wrong? Am I right, boys? Let me know.
You're definitely right. It's one of the songs that I'll listen to the first few notes and things, and then next song, please. Alexa, next song.
So for me, this is the one that's got the really good harmonies in it.
Oh yeah,
there's
the
so
harmonies
many
are great.
different,
Yeah.
there's so many different layers to it, and it's the first one on the album where it's sort of, up to this point, the harmonies are blending quite nicely, but they start to counter each other in this point with their harmonies, and I love it. I think it's great, and this song is one that, although it's not technically brilliant from a songwriting point of view, it's certainly, the way it's been recorded and the way the production on it, as a little kid, I want to take myself back to that little kid again, hearing those voices singing those different lines really did inspire me.
Wow.
And it stayed with me, this song, You Won't See Me. So as much as you guys might not like it, I really love it.
The thing is, what I mean is, it's so lyrically strong, and there's so many harmonies on it which make it strong. You could take the music out and it still sound just as good. You know what I mean? Like, the backing track isn't the important part, which is unlike Drive My Car, where the backing track is the important part.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean? Like, if you took that off that, it would still sound just as good with just us clapping for 3 minutes. It'd have the same,
But this has got some lovely lines in it, like some really insightful lines as well. Time after time, you refuse to even listen.
Yeah.
And all that. I wouldn't mind if I knew what I was missing. It's really, I mean, that's quite insightful.
But that's what I mean. Lyrically, it's brilliant. Musically, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's quite basic. Like, you could have stripped the backing track off and just had a guitar, and it would have been the same song. And it's almost like the vocals and the mix and the harmonies are pushed so loud, the backing track doesn't become important. You see what I mean?
Andy, thank you for that. I'm going to have another listen with new ears, so thank you.
Okay.
Serious. That's why we're talking about things, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Different points of view, and make you think a little bit differently.
But yeah, really nice song. Like, I don't think there's any tracks on this album that shouldn't be here. We normally sort of say, what one would you take off? I wouldn't take any off at all. But I do definitely have favorites on this album. Although the whole album is brilliant as a whole, I don't think you could cherry pick most of this album out and have it as singles, if you know what I mean, and go, that would be good. And I think that song is definitely, You Won't See Me is definitely an album track, in my opinion. It's not a strong single, but it's good enough to be where it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Nowhere Man, really interesting song. It's one of the first Beatles songs that isn't about love. It's more introspective from John's point of view. He called it his Fat Elvis period, didn't he? That's when he was doing that as well. Apparently he wrote it off. He was struggling to come up with another song as well. It was one of those things where that didn't work, but this did as well. I love the guitar work on this. I think the guitar work's absolutely amazing. Harmonies are on point as well.
Amazing.
And yeah, the double track vocals, just amazing. What do you guys think of the track?
I agree, mate. The harmony, I love the harmonies in this. I love that ding. It's just so meaningful. When you hear that, you get goosebumps.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one was very well produced as well. The opening lyrics they just bring you to another place.
Yeah.
As an aside, I visited Chester not too long ago, and I found out that John Lennon's grandmother lived in Chester, and she ran a pub for a long time. And they used to come down from Liverpool, it was only around the corner, and visit. And he would go across the river into Wales, and there was this old house that used to be a pub, and it was called Nowhere, because when the guys went to the pub, their wives would say, "Where you been?" Nowhere. And he must have seen that, so maybe that planted a little germ of thought in it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he said he was quite unhappy around this period as well, wasn't he? He's clearly being a bit of a lad, going off and about, even though he's married.
Yeah.
The band's just quit touring, so they're in that sort of place where I think this is the middle ground of, and Nowhere Man, I think, is perfect of his mental state. He feels overweight and unhappy. The band's not touring, which is what they want, don't get me wrong. And I think he was in a real crossroads at this point, and it's just a reflection of his life at that point and at that moment. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a sort of, it's a happy song without being happy at the same time, isn't it? It's one of those sort of,
it's
the
like
melody and the rhythms. Yeah.
Like a pause in his life saying, what am I doing? What do I do now?
Yeah. And you've got this quite jaunty music where, sorry, Anne, go on.
There is a contradiction between the lyrics and the music in this one. Definitely, it's upbeat musically, but it's so melancholy in its lyrics. And it's the first time I think this song led on to some of what they did later on, the more surreal stuff, because the imagery in this song is very surreal.
Yeah.
To me, some beautifully written lyrics as well, making all these nowhere plans for nobody. I love that line. That's a line that really just sticks out from this as well. Like you said before, the harmonies are beautiful in it, perfectly done, and it's got that beautiful ringing guitar tone in there as well, hasn't it? That just rings through. It's beautiful.
I love as well his like I was saying earlier about his mental state at the time, where he's a bit like, I don't know what I'm doing, and there's a point where he literally just goes, no man, like he just goes, oh, just get it done. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of that real sort of not sloppy vocal, but really sort of like, yeah. I mean, like that sort of boredom.
Yeah.
And you can almost hear it in his voice, and it's like he doesn't even finish the words properly in his own sentence.
It's like he's given up, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that is just pure magic. And to me, that's like when you get like a mistake on a record, like in Hey Jude, where he shouts F, all that sort of stuff. And I love he didn't finish it, and if he did, I don't think the song would have been as strong because of that, if you know what I mean. I think it's the fact that he slurs the vocals a little bit adds to the character of the song about the person as well, the character, the nowhere man. I just think that's pure magic. We're up to the first Harrison competition on the album. I'm going to be frank now. Like, I'm not a huge Harrison fan, songwriting until a lot later. You know, I just think to me, this is the weakest song on the album. I like it, but it's the weakest song. So we're up to Think for Yourself, and it's got a great fuzz tone guitar and bass on it. Don't get me wrong, I think that's great, and it's quite an aggressive song. But yet again, I don't know where this song is going or what it's really about, in the sense of I don't know. This song doesn't work for me. Like, I love Harrison's writing later on. I think he's brilliant later on. I really do. But I think this is still his growing period. And the second track he wrote, which we'll get to later, is much better than this one. The second one is much superior to this one. And obviously, you know, he was fighting for space with the boys to get something on the records. But I think one track of his on this album would have been better than two. Anyway, what do you think of the track, lads?
Andy?
I like it. I mean, I'm a fan of George Harrison as a songwriter, I've got to say. I think he gives you something different to Lennon and McCartney. He's a lot sharper in his lyrics, and he's a bit more cynical, I think, particularly in this song. It's, I don't know, it's a little bit more biting, maybe. But you got Paul with his fuzz bass on there, which is quite an early use of it, isn't it?
Yeah. I just don't like the fact that the lyrics follow the melody to the key. You know, do 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 do. Like, the harmonies are brilliant, and then it just follows too much. Like, there's no division between the melody and the verse. You know what I mean? It's almost like there's too much going on for me in it. It's almost like, I'll cram a load of stuff in and that'll make it a better song. Whereas I don't think it works that way. I just don't. Like I said earlier, I think Harrison writing 3 albums from now is much better than Harrison's writing now. I just think he hadn't matured as a writer yet. And, you know, to be fair to them, they put him on there. But I don't know. For me, it doesn't work.
I know what you mean, Robbie. I agree that it's like a transitional song for him, because I think, sorry, I'm rolling away. I think that he might have even been thinking, what kind of song can I write in order for John and Paul to actually let me on an album? You know, it has shades of like earlier Beatles kind of stuff. You know, it's very simple. You know, it's the same. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I like the song. I enjoy it when it says, you know, that's the end, little girl.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, I love that little bit. Yeah. It's just, but there's only elements of this song that make it great for me, not the whole song.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and I do agree with you. The other George song on here is much better.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so what I mean is, now we're up to the word. Now, as soon as the word starts, it almost blows Think for Yourself away. It's something like, go away now. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like a cabaret show where you've had an act and you go, right, get off. Now we're on. And then the word is just brilliant, you know, and they're saying, have you heard the word? And the word is love. You know what I mean? Like, it's the first time they're really basically using the universal, like, you got She Loves You, blah, blah, blah. But this is the first song really where they're saying that the theme of love is central to everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's lovely. And I love the start of the piano, and the guitar works against it. It's absolutely brilliant as well. Macca's vocals on point. What do you think of the track?
I like it. I love the song. I think you're right. It's a middle ground between She Loves You and Probably All You Need Is Love. This, it's kind of maybe runs on into that. Yeah, it's another Lennon McCartney song, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah. I love when they say like love with the cascading harmony. Da, 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 da. Like that is genius. Just to take that one word and then cascade it down like that is such a Beatles unique thing to do. I just that is what makes that song just, you know what I mean? It's brilliant. Pete, what do you think?
I don't think it's brilliant. I think it's a really good song. I love the song, and I love what you said about saying love is everything. It's almost like the start of the whole love generation in the '60s. It's really fun to listen to. Like Andy said, it's another Beatles Lennon McCartney song. I like it. I know you guys love it so much. It's all right for me. I'm the cynical one. I'm the George Harrison of the group here.
I just think the word is a song that they could have released as a single, I think, and it would have worked as a single, because it's such a strong song. And we got to remember this is '65, and Dylan's and Lennon have met at this point, so there's different things coming into their orbit. We've got to be careful how we say this because we get banned. So there's different elements of thinking by different things. So there's a lot of this going on as well. So just looking at you. So probably a lot of this was written with that sort of mindset of Hayes as well. But it's a beautiful message anyway, isn't it? Like All You Need Is Love is a beautiful song, beautiful message. And this is the same, But what I like about the word is the fact that they're almost saying it like a secret as well. Have you heard the word? You know what I mean? It's like it's like, come here, I've got to tell you something. And that's what I like.
Bird was the word.
Bird.
But you know what I mean? It's got that sort of secret to it that they know, but you don't know yet. But eventually you'll find out. And that's what I think that's really cool as well. The way they wrote it that way. I think that's amazing.